Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, forget the spreadsheets, forget the complex formulas for just a minute.
Yeah, let's park those.
Because today, we're really digging into what actually drives your financial life. And that's, well, it's your mind. People often say, that when it comes to money, your psychology, that's your biggest asset. Maybe even more than being great at math.
That's absolutely the heart of what we're getting into today. Our mission here really is to unpack the psychology of money using some pretty fascinating material we've gathered. We want to go beyond the surface, understand those sort of hidden forces shaping how you act with money, and hopefully help you build a better relationship with it all.
Exactly. We've got some perspectives that really get to the why. Why we save, why we sometimes splurge, and why sometimes we just can't stick to the plan, even when we know it's the smart thing to do.
It happens.
So we're going to look at why doing matters more than knowing, how your own past kind of writes your first money playbook.
Your personal history.
What real wealth looks like beyond the fancy stuff. The power of just letting money grow.
Compounding,
Why your financial plan needs to be uniquely yours. How to tune out seeing what everyone else is doing.
Especially online.
And ultimately, how all this leads to something maybe more valuable than just a big number in an account.
So maybe the first big point to jump into is this gap, right? The difference between knowing about finance and actually doing the right things with your money.
Yes. Okay, let's unpack that. You can read all the books, understand the strategies, but then you face a real decision, and it's like your emotions just hijack the process.
You really can.
Think about retirement savings.
Yeah.
Logically, you should put X amount away each month. Clear as day.
Right. The math makes sense.
But then maybe there's this amazing trip everyone's going on, or a big sale pops up, and bam, that fear of missing out kicks in hard.
That FOMO. It's powerful.
And suddenly your brain's going, oh, future you will figure it out. Live little now.
Precisely. That immediate feeling, that emotional pull, it can just completely override the logical long-term plan.
Yeah.
We might understand delayed gratification intellectually, but actually choosing it in the moment, that's tough.
So tough.
It really shows that managing money isn't just about numbers. It's deeply emotional. It requires self-awareness. Have you ever felt that internal battle, knowing the smart choice, but feeling pull the other way?
Oh, definitely. All the time. It's like, you shouldn't eat that extra cookie.
Right.
But it just tastes so good now.
Yeah.
Except, like you said, with money, the consequences down the line can be way bigger.
It's bigger.
And this actually leads perfectly into the next idea, how incredibly personal our money stuff really is.
Yes, exactly. The material we looked at really highlights how everyone has their own very unique money story.
Money story, I like that.
Yeah. Our attitudes, our beliefs, they don't just appear out of nowhere. They're shaped heavily by our experiences, especially when we were growing up.
Right, those early years.
These experiences create what some people call money scripts. Basically, subconscious rules or beliefs that really steer how we handle money today, kind of like the default settings.
Okay, this is where it gets super interesting for me. The sources gave some really clear examples, like someone who grew up poor, maybe with a lot of anxiety around money.
Yeah, scarcity.
They might develop this deep-seated fear, right, of not having enough.
Yeah.
And later, even if they're doing fine financially, they might hoard money. Just can't shake that feeling.
Absolutely. Or on the flip side, maybe someone grew up where money was always abundant, easy come, easy go.
Right.
They might end up being much more comfortable taking big financial risks, maybe seeing money differently altogether. It just shows how those early environments really set a foundation.
It really does.
So it makes you think, doesn't it? What were those first messages you got about money? From family, maybe the neighborhood? How might those old messages still be, running the show a bit today, maybe without you even realizing?
It's like we're all carrying around these invisible financial blueprints.
Yeah.
And these blueprints, they must also shape how we even define success or wealth, right? Which brings us to another key point. What wealth actually is.
This is such a crucial distinction. We see so much visible spending, don't we? The fancy cars, designer labels, those amazing holidays all over Instagram.
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere.
But the sources we're drawing on really emphasize something important. True wealth, lasting wealth, is often the stuff you don't see.
Okay. Like what?
Like savings, investments, assets that actually build security and create options for the future. It's the quiet stuff.
Right. So the person driving the super flashy car might actually be drowning in debt.
Could be. You just don't know.
While someone living, more simply but consistently saving and investing, they could be way wealthier, financially stronger.
Exactly. So the big lesson there is don't get fooled by the surface. What you see isn't always the real financial picture.
That's really freeing, actually, if you can internalize that.
It is. It lets you stop focusing on keeping up appearances and start building actual internal financial strength, which connects nicely to, well, one of the most powerful engines of wealth creation, compounding.
Ah, yes, compounding. The eighth wonder of the world, or something like that.
Something like that. It sounds maybe a bit technical, but the idea itself is pretty simple and incredibly powerful.
And the material really stressed. You don't need to be some kind of Wall Street genius to make it work for you, right?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. Compounding mainly rewards just two things: time and consistency.
Okay. Time and consistency.
The longer your money has to grow and the more regularly you add to it, the bigger the snowball effect gets. It's really about starting as early as you can, staying disciplined,
Sticking with it.
and just letting time do its thing. Honestly, patience is probably worth more than genius here.
It's like planting a tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plant it early, water it regularly.
Exactly.
And over the long haul, it grows into something substantial. It really hammers home that slow and steady often wins the race in finance.
It absolutely does.
So, okay, once you get these big ideas like behavior matters, your history matters, focus on real wealth, use compounding, the next step is tailoring it, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
money isn't one size fits all.
Not even close. And the sources really drive this home. Your financial plan, your goals, your strategies, they need to fit you, your personality, how much risk you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
your emotional triggers around money, what you actually want out of life. What feels secure to one person might feel terrifyingly risky to someone else.
That makes sense. Like someone might really need a big emergency fund to feel safe, like 6 months, 9 months of expenses saved up,
Right. That buffer gives them peace of mind.
even if it means maybe missing out on some higher potential investment returns in the short term. But for them, that security is paramount.
Exactly. Whereas someone else might be totally fine with a smaller cushion because they're more comfortable chasing potentially higher returns through investments, even with the ups and
Their
downs.
volatility, yeah.
Precisely. The key is knowing yourself. What actually makes you feel financially okay? Don't just copy someone else's plan if it doesn't feel right for you. It has to align with your values, your goals.
And speaking of not copying others, that leads us right into the social comparison track.
Ugh, yes, the comparison game. It's so easy to fall into, especially with social media constantly showing us curated versions of everyone else's life.
Totally. You
Yeah.
see someone's new car, their amazing vacation photos,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly your own progress feels kind of inadequate. You feel like you're behind.
But again, the stuff we've been reading offers a really healthy reminder here.
Yeah.
You almost never see the full picture online.
Right.
You don't see their debts, you don't see their struggles, you don't know what's really going on behind that perfect photo.
Good point.
So comparing your reality to their highlight reel, it's not just inaccurate, it can actually be pretty harmful to your own mindset and your financial health.
It's like comparing your messy rough draft to their finished published book cover.
Great analogy. Yeah. The best thing you can do is really try to tune out that noise. Focus on your goals, your progress. Your financial journey is yours alone.
Okay, so we focus inward, we personalize our plan. But what's the ultimate point of all this? Why manage money carefully? What's the end game?
That's a fundamental question, and the sources offer a really powerful perspective on it.
Yeah, it seems like it's about reframing money. It's not just about like keeping score or piling up cash. It's a tool.
Exactly, a means to an end. And that end, ideally, it's freedom, real freedom.
Freedom. Okay.
The goal isn't just having the most money possible. It's about getting to a point where you have enough.
Enough. What does enough mean here?
Enough resources to live the life you actually value. Enough to feel secure, to have choices, to have autonomy. It's about being able to make decisions based on what matters to you, not just what your bank balance dictates.
Ah, okay. So it's about control over your own life, basically.
The large part of it, yes.
Yeah.
Choice and security.
And that definition of enough, going back to what we said earlier, that's going to be different for everyone, isn't it?
Deeply individual, just like the financial plan itself. It's about figuring out what a fulfilling life looks like for you and then aligning your money to support that vision.
Makes sense. So wrapping this up, this whole deep dive into the psychology of money, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
For me, it really comes back to that core idea of how we think about money, our beliefs, our emotions around it. That's way more powerful than just the numbers on a page.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting your finances in order, achieving that sense of well-being, it isn't really about some secret trick or getting lucky. It seems to boil down to knowing yourself, being patient,
Right, the compounding needs time.
and just consistently building good habits, habits that actually fit you.
It's all about understanding your own money story, like you said, and then maybe consciously rewriting the parts that aren't serving you anymore.
Well put. Shaping your mindset to support where you want to go.
Okay, so here's a final thought for everyone listening. Now that we've talked through some of these psychological layers of money, what's maybe just one small shift, one little change in your thinking or your perspective that you think could make the biggest positive difference in your financial life from here on out? Maybe it's questioning one of those old money scripts we talked about, or maybe just deciding to hit unfollow on accounts that trigger that comparison feeling.
Good questions to ponder.
Yeah. Take a moment. Reflect on your own relationship with money, those beliefs you hold. How are they shaping what you do today? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.